Hello, I'm Monickie Scott.
And this is your girl, Felina B. Flossin. Thank you for joining us as we support and encourage women in their five-star living journey. Today, we have our first male guest on the show.
Woo!
Robert Allen, author of Self Care, Let's Start the Conversation, born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. And he is also a leadership professional, board certified chaplain, and growth coach. Welcome to the Five Star Living Show, Robert.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So we're going to jump right into it. Let's start with why you wrote this book.
Oh, okay. Why I wrote the book. Uh, coming from a space, I grew up and, I was always told too much idle time is the devil's workshop. So culturally, we just pushed to go, 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 and to do, and to do, and to do. And that was kind of what I saw my mom do. She, never took time for herself, took care of everybody else. And so as I got older, I just started realizing after I went through a chaplain's program that really challenged me where I was to say, how do you care for yourself?
Okay.
And so throughout life and whatnot, it was just very important for me to put this book out because burnout is a real thing.
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
Burnout is definitely a real thing. And I love that you were a male child watching your mother go through that and that you paid attention. I'm the mother of two sons as well. So I'll be interested in their growing up and seeing what they're learning. What is it that you would hope that the reader would get from reading this book?
Well, you know what? The book, I'm telling you, it took uh, probably almost a year and it was four rewrites. The first time, I locked myself away for about a month. I wrote it and I was just like, oh, this is good. The publisher got it. It was just like chapters 1 and 2 is good. I'm like, hey, it's 16 chapters. They was just like, yeah, we know. And so I was a little butt hurt. Like, what do you mean? The challenge was writing. I have several degrees, and so I know how to write technical. I love poetry and I write songs and I love music. So I know how to write creatively, but I didn't know how to write in the middle. And so that was the biggest challenge. So for the readers, what I really want them to get out of it, I'm a coach, I'm a father, I'm a chaplain, um, I'm a son, I'm all of these things. So I took all of those things and fused them together so that the reader can look and say, hey, I identify with that. That's me right there in my family. Uh,
Yeah.
and it helps them to really take a close look at themselves. And so, if anything, I want people to take an introspective look on how they care for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Absolutely. Well, you're definitely a great role model, and we see you hold a lot of titles. Where did you find the time, and how did you do it?
You know what? I was challenged again when I went through a program called CPE, Clinical Pastoral Education. That's where you learn to be a board certified chaplain. Um, what was very interesting to me was I consider myself a successaholic. I didn't want to be another statistic growing up in Detroit, Michigan, from the inner city, in the middle of the challenging streets of Detroit. I wanted to succeed. So my thoughts of being a success was earning degrees, making money. And then I realized half the stuff I didn't even want to do.
Hmm.
Wow.
Some of the accolades that I got, I'm grateful for. Please let me say that I'm grateful for it. But when I look back, those were things that I was trying to accomplish for somebody else and not even for myself.
Yeah.
Being a woman, I only deal with talking with women about their own self care. So, you being a male, having wrote a book called Self Care, let's start the conversation. Can I ask, were you talking to men at first, or were you talking to everyone, or how does this book relate to both?
Well, no, I was. again, using my mother as the example, I lost my dad when I was young, around 6 or 7. So I watched my mom carry the family. She was old Mother Hubbard. She took in everybody, loved everybody. They call our family the huggy kissy family because we gonna love on you, we gonna hug you, we definitely gonna feed you. But I saw my mom tired. And one of the things I'm a licensed therapist too. So one of the things that I see as a therapist, as a teacher, an educator, stress and burnout has no gender to it, male or female. I've had the opportunity to work in my profession with both, and I've seen them both, male and female, just burn out. So the book it transcends gender, it transcends economic status. It speaks to everybody, and that's what I love about the book.
I love that too. I love hearing that as well. So, what are you looking most forward to accomplishing?
Educating. My goal is to help people become a better version of themselves. And a lot of that does not happen unless we take the time to have an introspective look. So there's 4 concepts that I use in the book. It's called the 4 R's. The first is retreat. The second is reflect. The third is replenish. And then the last one is to regroup. And so those 4 R's are 4 concepts or 4 pillars that I have in the book to help people. And each chapter has a reflective pause at the end so that people can take that introspective look and ask themselves those personal, deep questions that we kind of put on the back burner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so we got the 4 R's, but what keeps you going?
Okay, that's a loaded question, so I'm gonna ask for clarity.
Let's go. What keeps you pushing, when it's hard to?
Outside of my faith factor, outside of God, I think what keeps me pushing is the next generation, and then the generation after that. Okay. A lot of times we want to make things easier. We all have children on this call, and one of the things that we want to do is make life easier for our children.
Yes.
And typically, I know I have my thoughts of that was to make sure that they had more than I had, but that's not necessarily true. I want them to be healthier than I was. I want them to be mentally, emotionally, and spiritually better than I was. And so if I can pass anything along, I don't have grandchildren yet. I'm not looking for any right now, but I want my grandchildren to be able to pick up this book and say, hey, Paw spoke to me from 2 generations ago.
Yeah.
Nice.
Absolutely. Nice. Well, it's very obvious that you have a great love for your family. Who is one person that's made a huge difference in your life, and what would you say to that person if they were listening right now?
Wow. See, you trying to get me to get emotional, and I'm not.
Come on, you can't for the show.
One of the most, and I actually dedicated the book to him, is my godfather, Deacon Wyatt Jones, Jr. My mom was a single parent. Again, I lost my dad when I was young, and my mom sent me to a private school. It was an all-boys school. I said, Mom, there's no girls here. What's going on? We got to do something different. And it worked out, though. But the dean of students was a deacon in the Catholic faith. And that is who would later become my godfather. He was the first person. I was acting up my junior year. I had a car. Kind of got to school when I got there. And I remember this time they told me to wait in the office I was just like, but I'm gonna miss prayer. They said you're already late for prayer. And so after the bell rung, I went to his office and he started throwing chairs at me. And then he grabbed me. He didn't choke me, but it was close to it.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I am not gonna let you fail.
Wow.
It will not happen on my watch. And I sat there, I was trying to be tough. Get off me. Oh, get off me. And, no, but I mean, I think he was a 3rd degree black belt too. So
wait a minute.
Yeah, that wasn't gonna go too far. But he really took an investment, interest, and invested time in me to make sure that I did not go the opposite way.
Wow.
And I ended up graduating 2nd in my high school class after that.
Wow. We need
I
more
love
mentors
that.
like that.
Yeah, I love that you had someone there to invest in you in those years that are so important, and that you actually went that direction instead of choosing to go a different direction. There's a person listening right now who's lacking the courage to move forward and follow through on their dreams of perhaps becoming an author. What words of wisdom would you share with them?
Make sure you have a good editor. That I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm telling you, I had no clue that there were so many different kind of editors. There's an editor for grammar. There's an editor for readability. There's an editor for flow. I'm like, what happened to when we were in school and you just got somebody to check your paper?
Mm-hmm.
So no, but really, honestly, that was an expensive lesson. I'll say this: do not delay. Do not delay. Write whatever's in your heart, and then get a good editor to help you sort out how your story makes sense to your audience.
Yeah.
So that is my number one, if I could share anything.
Thank you for sharing those words of wisdom. You have helped somebody right now. We're going to handle just a little bit of 5-star business before we go on. When you hear the words 5-star living, what does that mean to you in your world?
Top of the line, top shelf. I was thinking about that. I was just like, 5-star living. Actually, I was thinking that I was somewhere in Italy overlooking the ocean. And so if I had to put it in one word, I would say peaceful.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
I'm glad, because I thought you were about to go the other way. So I love to hear that you brought it back to the internal instead of the external.
No, I see. I was there. See, look. Give me a little.
You know
bit.
what? You're doing a great job, first male interviewer.
Not that external doesn't have its place. We just want to, we need to, like you said, you have to start from the inside in order to be able to enjoy the outside.
Yeah. Well, one of my most peaceful places is around water.
Mm-hmm.
And so even in my self-care journey, and I just did it just the other day, I went out to the lake and just was at peace at the lake, sitting on the bench, taking an introspective look and just sitting back and reflecting. So water does it for me. So I've always wanted to go to Italy. So why can't I be in Italy looking at waters?
bringing yourself some peace. Exactly.
Bringing myself some peace and tranquility.
Okay, so since we mentioned peace, with peace comes balance. So how do you bring balance into your life?
You know what? Good question. It's a couple chapters in the book that I talk about with accountability partners and mentors.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say this enough. A lot of times people, all races, don't matter, we lack proper tutelage, if I can use that word, in leadership in terms of mentorship and accountability.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I have several mentors and I have several accountability partners, people who I have given permission to put me in my place.
Okay.
And so I think that's chapter 15 or 16 in the book. And those chapters are very important to me, because especially growing up, do I have 2 seconds to explain it?
Go for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So typically growing up, what we will see, and I'm going to speak from a male, I can't speak from a female point of view, but I've seen it from that point of view, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So typically, as a single parent, we want to have our children involved in sports and things that's going to keep them occupied. So they have nice coaches that may take an investment in them and help them get to a higher level in their achievement in sports or band or whatever the case may be. However, when we talk about mentorship, and as we get older, accountability partners, mentorship is that personal investment. So I sought out most of my mentors.
Okay.
And then I built the relationship, and then they helped engage with boundaries, what that was going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Okay.
And so being able to have healthy mentors and accountability partners who will help you grow.
Absolutely.
That is golden.
Absolutely.
One of my issues, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all, is patience. I am not the most patient person. I try to be, and I'm working on it. So I have an accountability partner who works with me on patience.
Mm-hmm.
So they ask me all the annoying questions. Well, what about this? Well, what about that? And then I get a little hyper, but you don't understand. And you have to, and then they bring me back to center and say, but were you being patient or were you being Robert?
That's deep.
That is very deep. I call those women my sister circles, and you put a new perspective, because they do have every bit of my permission to put me in check whenever. And so I love the way you explain that yes, everybody needs that, because we can't always be the person on the outside looking in on what we may be doing wrong. So it always helps to have that person on the outside saying, hey, you need to go a little bit this way, or else you're going to run into some of that. Look, we have to have you back, but before you go, share with our listeners how they can find you online and how they can buy the book.
Oh, absolutely. Well, first off, thank you for having me. This has been absolutely amazing. And you said you was gonna have me back, so that means I must have did an okay job.
You did. You said it good for the males. You said it good for the males.
Okay. So if people want to buy the book, you can go to www.rwallenbooks.com and RWALLEN books.com. There you will find the self-care, the book. You will find the 12-week reflective journal, your do not disturb self-care mode t-shirt.
Love that.
We also have mugs and other things. And we also do retreats and trainings. And I just finished a training for Head Start program for over 200 employees.
Nice.
And when I tell you, they were super engaged. The director bought books for her whole staff.
Wow.
So I am just humbled and thankful that the message about getting people to care for themselves is going out.
Amen.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Robert. We
Thank
want to
you.
thank you for listening to us and joining us for the 5-Star Living show in this 5-star day. We believe in you. We believe that you are going to have a more 5-star life starting right now.
Yes, right now. And we know that you could have been anywhere else, but you chose to be right here with us. And so for that, we thank you. We look forward to seeing you on Facebook at 5-Star Living Show and joining us in the 5-Star Living Show Inner Circle. Remember to laugh more and love more while taking care of your mind, body, and soul.
Yes, the 5-Star Living Show is sponsored in part by Flossie Flicks Photography, Monickie.com, Flossie Locks, and Meditate with Mo. Until next time, keep 5-star living.
Yes, and show us some love by leaving a comment or subscribing on YouTube. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.